Good morning, everyone. Today we are discussing about the topic psychoanalytic criticism, and I am Jessamay Bakangaya, and together with me is my group.
Good morning, everyone. I am Sandy Fernando Palermo, and I am one of the reporters.
I am Nasria Galay.
So good morning everyone. My name is Mariel Capion and
But before that, let us read our objective first. At the end of the lesson, the student should be able to A. Define what is psychoanalytic criticism, identify the key principles of psychoanalytic criticism, and apply psychoanalytic criticism in literary work.
So, psychoanalytic criticism. Psychoanalytic criticism is a type of criticism that uses theories of psychology to analyze literature. It focuses on the outer state of mind or the state of mind of the fictional characters. So, um, Psychoanalytic criticism is a way of studying literature that uses the ideas from psychology to understand what's going on in the mind of the author and in the characters of the story. So, for example, it might explore the hidden motivation of the characters driven by unconsciousness, desires, or examine how the characters' experience shape their present actions.
Psychoanalytic criticism. Psychoanalytic criticism originated in the works of Sigmund Freud. Theories are concerned with nature of the unconscious mind. According to Freud, the human mind consists of three parts: the ID, the ego, and the superego. The first one is the ID. According to Sigmund Freud, the ID has been present in humans since birth. It works on pleasure principles and primitive principles. It is the source of all psychic energy. ID is an unconscious state. So here, the pleasure principle means that the instant gratification of an individual pleasure, needs, and wants. We can commonly see ID playing a role in an infant's case. An infant needs to satisfy primary needs of tears and hunger, and this is the example of ID. In the case of adult, people who constantly strive for instant recognition of their works, constant praise for their efforts, or immediate success in career or etc. is an example of ID. Freud concludes that the ID tries to resolve the instant needs by creating a mental image of desired object.
second is the ego. So the ego acts as a rational part of the personality, negotiating between its desires and the superego's moral constraints. In literary criticism, the ego is seen as the mediator that helps characters navigate their internal conflicts and interactions with the external world. The last one is the superego. So the superego represents the internalized moral standards and ideals, often derived from the societal, cultural, and familial influences. In literary criticism, the superego is seen in characters' adherence to moral codes and the internal conflicts that arise from their ethical beliefs.
Okay, let us now apply the psychoanalytic criticism in literary work of Fyodor Dostoevsky, entitled The Crime and Punishment. Okay, so Crime and Punishment reveals the psychological complicities of Raskolnikov, the protagonist of the novel, and his struggle with guilt and morality. Freud's theory of the unconscious mind can be used to analyze Raskolnikov's divided psyche, represented by his conflicting desires for power and redemption. His crime, the murder of the pawnbroker, can be interpreted as a manifestation of his id and the primal part of his psyche driven by selfish impulses and a desire for superiority. However, his superego, embodying societal values and morality, asserts itself through his overwhelming guilt and eventual confession. The novel also explores Raskolnikov's subconscious motives, his justification for the murder, believing himself a Napoleon-like figure above conventional morality, reflects repressed insecurities and a deep need for validation. The psychological torment he endures after the crime symbolizes the clash between his id and superego, leaving his ego struggling to mediate. This internal conflict into the human mind, portraying how guilt and unresolved inner conflicts can lead to psychological breakdown and ultimately moral redemption. So that's all for our report. So I hope you learned something from this topic. Have a good day and God bless.